Take the Galaxy Z Fold that we all know, cut it down a little and make it wider, and voila! We have the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold8. Yes, it's shorter and wider, but that is the main reason why this new form factor is so interesting. It fundamentally changes everything with its foldable, pocketable 4:3 aspect ratio OLED display, enhancing our interaction with the device, web browsing, app scaling, gaming experience, social media, and also watching video. So in this video, we are only going to talk all about the display and the size and everything it affects, so hit that like and subscribe button and hit the hype button if you have it as well. And let's get started with the technical details first. The cover display is a pretty standard screen, I would say. It is a 5.5-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display with a resolution of 1972 by 1248 pixels in resolution, and it is a very close approximation to the 16 by 10 aspect ratio, which we will talk about later, and it can also go up to a 120Hz refresh rate. From our tests, this outer display can go up to just shy of 1400 nits. It's actually very bright and we can use this outdoors without any issues other than reflections. It can also go to a minimum of 1.01 nits, and that is a really good range. With that said, since the Galaxy S24 days, we have a total of 4 different color profiles to select from. It will be defaulted into vividness level 1, but we can change it to vividness level 2, vividness level 3, and also the natural color profile. And of course, we tested all of them. So starting with the natural color profile, it has a pretty desaturated look and it is only covering 73% of the DCI-P3 color gamut, but the delta E number is very low and that is good. As we progressively go up in terms of the vividness level, the DCI-P3 color gamut coverage will also rise up. At level 1, it is at 85% with a still very low delta E number. At vividness level 2, it will cover 96% of DCI-P3 with a bit higher in terms of the maximum delta E number, but the average still remains very low, whereby in vividness level 3, it covers 98.41% of DCI-P3 with the delta E number exceeding 2.0, but the average is still very low, so I do expect there's some random spike somewhere. When we unfold the display, everything changes. This Samsung Galaxy Z Fold8 has a 7.6-inch foldable dynamic AMOLED 2X display with a resolution of 2448 by 1828 pixels in resolution. It's a very close approximation to the 4:3 aspect ratio, which we will talk about later, and it also has 120Hz refresh rate. We split the testing into 2 for this screen in particular, one for the left half and then another for the right half. Surprisingly, the entire screen performs quite consistently. It can get up to around 1500 nits average between the two sides, which is actually really bright, and it can also go down to 0.91 nits only. The overall color gamut coverage between all 4 different color profiles are very consistent across the entire flexible display and also the cover display. I'll just quickly show you all the numbers on the screen here, starting with the natural color profile, and then we move on to vividness level 1, and then to vividness level 2, and finally, vividness level 3. There is no right or wrong vividness level, it just depends on how saturated you want the display colors to be. Also, the inner display has an anti-reflective layer as well. That further enhances the experience even more, except for that humongous selfie camera cutout. With the technical parts out of the way, let's move on to the aspect ratio. If we do the math with the resolution, then the aspect ratio isn't exactly 4:3 for the inner display. It's actually 621 by 457. And I know that number doesn't mean much, but if you try to divide it to a perfect 4:3, you will get a lot of decimal points. So it is not a perfect 4:3. You can simply do the math yourself. To find out if it's a perfect 4:3 for the inner display, for example, just use the horizontal pixels, divide it by 4. And then multiply it by 3 and you won't get the same pixel number as what we have on the spec sheets for the inner display for the Galaxy Z Fold8. We can actually prove this on the Galaxy Z Fold8 itself too. Whenever we view any sort of true 4:3 aspect ratio content, there's going to be a few rows of black bar pixels at the top and the bottom of the screen. That, to me, is not really a problem. I just wanted to let you guys know if you see these kind of tiny black bars, this is the reason why. I will still be referring to the inner display as a 4:3 aspect ratio throughout this video, so just keep that in mind. So what can we do with this kind of aspect ratio? Well, many things actually. Personally, the thought of retro gaming immediately came into my mind. Back in the days before the 16:9 aspect ratio existed, 4:3 was the standard. And that means we're going to enjoy all sorts of retro stuff. I grew up with the PS1 and PS2, so of course I had to try out some of those games on the Galaxy Z Fold8 too. To no one's surprise, the games run great, and it looks even better thanks to the colors that this display can output. Even retro consoles that don't adhere to the commonly found aspect ratio like the NDS or 3DS works great when rotated. One screen goes to the top and another goes to the bottom. There are some black bars on the side, but I'll take this over any other form factors that we have today. Old-timey TV shows are all in 4:3 aspect ratio, and one of our commenters said Yu Yu Hakusho is going to look great on this display. And I have to agree. Keep in mind that this is an OLED 4:3 display and you can keep it in your pocket. Heck, even cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory looks great on this display. Other than that, reading ebooks is also great. And this is how it looks. The app of my choice is the Google Play Books, and we can set it to split into 2-page view like this, and then adjust the spacing, the text size, the font, all of that stuff. What's more impressive though is that when we fold the device back, it will automatically turn into single-page view. It dynamically adapts whether we have folded or unfolded the phone. Holding the device and flipping pages at the same time is a bit of a challenge though. The weight of the device is a bit lopsided if I hold it one-handed, and swiping to change the pages is kind of like tempting fate since the device can slip off my hand anytime. Another commenter asked, how about reading comics and such? Well, the Google Play Books app has comics too. And again, the scaling is perfect, at least for this comic in particular. To me, the text is definitely too small, but it does have the dynamic text bubble popping up, so I can actually read without squinting, so I'm okay with it. This other comic though does not have the dynamic text bubble feature, so I'm just having a really hard time reading any sort of text on this comic. As for manga, this is how it looks. Don't ask me for the source because I'm also reading it from a website. I recommend you to rotate the phone for a better experience, but as you can see, it's still not a perfect one page per view kind of situation. I did try with gesture navigation and Samsung Internet Browser where we can hide the address bar, but yeah, it's close but still not one page per view. However, if we fold the display, then it actually looks perfect. So that's that. Smaller screen, so you're gonna have a much more difficult time reading the text again, but it is great for manga. Social media apps like Instagram and Twitter works well, but it's better if we rotate the device. Short videos also work okay this way, though we'll have some black bars on both sides. Personally, I think this is okay because it is much better than the Galaxy Z Fold8 Ultra's form factor. As a quick mention, multitasking does feel better here since we can open 3 apps side by side thanks to One UI 9.0. If you're someone who likes multitasking, then this is definitely for you. We can even go into dual brain rot mode in parallel and spam our friends with reels too. Because of the nature of the 4:3 aspect ratio, we'll have to deal with some weird quirks. Some of them are good, some of them not so much, but there are solutions. First off, since the display is so wide, we can literally view emails like how we do it on our desktop or laptop. The email goes to the left side and all of the content of that particular email goes to the right side. And then we can just go through emails a lot faster compared to the traditional slap phones because we can see more. Even text messages will have the same perks too. Telegram will have the same wide view, so does WhatsApp. And for WhatsApp in particular, we can actually disable this kind of view and go back to the conventional way of viewing chats. But I personally prefer this side-by-side view. But then again, replying to anything might be a problem, I would say. By default, the Samsung keyboard will be in split keyboard mode. We'll have to adapt to a split keyboard, and this actually works well, I guess. So I changed over to Gboard, which is my personal keyboard of choice, and Gboard's split keyboard works a lot better here. When we fold the device, it's basically impossible to use the cover display one-handed too, since the phone is just now so wide. Basically, replying to messages quickly with just one hand is not going to happen. We'll have to resize the keyboard or make it a floating keyboard instead, so that, the keyboard is parked either to the left or right side depending on which hand that you're using your phone with. However, there are certainly annoyances because of its 4:3 aspect ratio. Web browsing in 4:3 is kind of weird since many websites will have its content spread across the entire length of the screen. So I rotated the display and that worked out for some websites like ours. We have a website, by the way, the link is down in the description below. While some other websites, they kind of completely break, but if we go to that website in the cover display and then unfold it again, somehow it fixes itself. I'm not sure what kind of bug this is, but there's that. Also, some apps just won't maximize by default, so Samsung added a button for us to force the app to open wide. I mean, it worked for this app, but it doesn't actually look good and it just makes browsing difficult. So we can fix this by literally rotating the display. Taobao scales both orientations, but the search bar will take up like half of the screen while in landscape mode. Then there are some apps that just don't give you any options and will only work in vertical view, which is just annoying. But there are two big annoyances that we cannot ignore. The first one is this. Whichever view that we're using this phone, that humongous selfie camera cutout is just annoying, ugly, and I honestly wish that Samsung will bring back the under-display camera that we had a few years back. The argument of using the bigger display for video calls is even less impactful now because Samsung did not include flex mode in the Z Fold8 and the device can't even stand on its own. Taking selfies is also difficult unless we have yet another tripod or something for the phone. The second annoyance is the speakers. Not the speakers themselves because they do sound fine, but the speaker placement. It's just weird. When the Galaxy Z Fold8 is folded, the speakers are pointing up and down. Pretty typical since this is the same as all of the other Galaxy Z Folds of the past. But once unfolded, the phone is directly in landscape view, and the speakers are then biased to the left side and the sound is still going to the top and bottom. Most games are in landscape view, so we are getting an awkward soundstage. And this guy's comment is very valid. I personally would have relocated the speakers to the side, maybe move the USB-C port to the side as well. That will look and feel awkward at first, but I think it's for the better. Especially for accessories like those telescopic controllers. All in all, I think that the Galaxy Z Fold8 does have its own pros and cons when it comes to this kind of form factor. In terms of the technicality and performance, the display is amazing. The form factor and how the software handles it, well, I would say Samsung generally got it right, though there are some annoyances here and there, especially with that humongous selfie camera cutout. And I would consider this to be Samsung's first generation device of this kind of form factor, but it is definitely not their first foldable phone. So let us know, what do you think about the Galaxy Z Fold8's shape and size? Do you think that this form factor is better than the tall one? What do you personally want to do with a 4:3 aspect ratio display? I would love to know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next video. Probably we'll go into the in-depth technical review of the Galaxy Z Fold8 because I do have all of the data already. Yeah.